All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Wion this hour, where in yet another embarrassment for Islamabad, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mehmood Qureshi has postponed his visit to Japan. Now, according to sources, the development comes after Tokyo suggested to Pakistan to postpone the visit in view of the Indo-Pakistan tensions over the 14th of February Pulwama attack that had led to the deaths of 40 Indian paramilitary soldiers. The Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed had claimed the responsibility for the attack, and the sources further told Wion that Japan has also suggested Foreign Minister Qureshi to stay in his country and engage in active diplomacy to reduce tensions. Shah Mehmood Qureshi was to leave for Japan earlier this morning. The visit, however, was cancelled after the Pakistani officials held thorough consultations with the Japanese officials. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by our Islamabad Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, who's joining us live from Islamabad. Anas, this is an interesting development that has taken place, where the Foreign Minister of Pakistan was to visit Japan today. But that visit, it appears, has been either postponed or, according to some sections of the Japanese media, has perhaps even been cancelled. Now, what is the rationale behind this?
Well, Saleh, to start off with, just as we speak, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the spokesperson of the Pakistani Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Mohammad Faisal, has formally confirmed as well that the visit has indeed been postponed. Remember, Wion was the first to report this, that the visit has been postponed, and now a formal confirmation by the Pakistani government that the visit indeed has been postponed. Now, this postponement comes in the backdrop of this developing India-Pakistan tensions. The spokesperson also said that in light of the recent situations, the visit has been postponed. Now, what is interesting is to note that the Pakistani Foreign Minister was to visit Japan on a bilateral visit. It was deemed very important with regards to country's economic progress, and he was to meet the Prime Minister of Japan as well, and other important community members of the Japanese side, and in order to persuade them to invest in Pakistan. Remember, Pakistani government, the Imran Khan government, after they are taking power, their more focus is now on investments within Pakistan and not just loan. So the Pakistani Foreign Minister, this trip had been planned for about 2 months now, right, and he was due to go to Japan on a bilateral trip earlier in the morning today, and now it stands postponed. Also, something that is very significant is the fact that the Pakistani government has also made a crisis management cell, a CMC, which will be looking after the threats on the eastern border in view of the developing situations. Top government sources have been telling Wion it is more of an intergovernmental crisis management cell, which will be working 24/7. Yes, Saleh.
Absolutely. Now, but going by what the Japanese media, the NHK, which is the state broadcaster in Japan, they're saying that the visit has in fact been cancelled and not just postponed.
Well, as of what the Pakistani side is claiming, that it has been postponed for the time being and it has not been cancelled due to the prevailing situations. The diplomatic sources in Islamabad, they tell Wion that this decision was not taken unilaterally, but in fact bilaterally after holding consultations with the Japanese government, and that a new date of this for the bilateral trip will be announced very soon after scheduling being done. Remember, due to this prevailing situation, the Pakistani government has indeed consulted the Japanese government, which also opted and suggested the Pakistani Foreign Minister to stay within his country and engage in active diplomacy to reduce tensions. Remember, the Pakistani Foreign Minister has spoken to several countries, several other foreign ministers and his counterparts, such as the UAE, Saudi Foreign Minister, the UAE Foreign Minister, the Nepali Foreign Minister, and the Sri Lankan Foreign Minister as well, to mention a few. And he wanted to get his point of view across, the Pakistani point of view across, given the current hostility, given the current rise in tensions between India and Pakistan. And remember, the Pakistani side has been maintaining that they don't want to go at war, and they want to de-escalate these tensions. Right. Last week, when the Saudi Foreign Minister was in Islamabad as well, when Wion asked him, he said that Saudi Arabia would want to de-escalate these tensions between India and Pakistan. Yes, Saleh?
Absolutely, indeed. And also, as the manner in which this postponement or the cancellation of this visit will be looked at is greater isolation of Pakistan diplomatically. How is that being perceived within Pakistani circles?
Well, for now, the Pakistani side is not looking much at it, given the diplomatic isolation perspective, because of the fact that the Pakistani side, again, previously has maintained that they have a lot to do internally, and they need to deal with their internal challenges at first before engaging in any other process, be that be bilateral or unilateral process. In fact, we saw that statement coming in from the Pakistani ambassador to Kabul as well, that if indeed the eastern border gets hot, referring to the Indian border, then the Pakistani side would not be able to engage in the Afghan peace process. So the Pakistani side is not currently looking at it from that perspective of diplomatic isolation, but instead it is looking unilaterally to get to avert a war-like situation, to avert any escalation on the eastern front with the Indian border, and it is doing its what it claims its best to avoid such a situation where things would be escalated between India and Pakistan.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Anas Malik, for joining us and getting us the latest in terms of what is happening. But this, of course, will be looked at very closely, and going by the different versions that are coming out from Pakistan and also from Japan. It appears that Shah Mehmood Qureshi, who was slated to travel to Japan today, his visit at least has been postponed, according to the Pakistani side. But from what is being reported in the Japanese media, that is the state media in Japan, the NHK broadcaster, they claim that the visit has in fact been cancelled for the time being.